And tell me about your time as an auctioneer for Stacks.
Oh, the time as an auctioneer was one of the great experiences of my life. I enjoyed it because an auctioneer, believe it or not, is a leader. And maybe I like to lead or direct a little bit, makes you very much a person that likes to do things and have them happen and see them happen. And the problem with being an auctioneer is, at least years ago, there were all different ways people bid. Some people bid by raising their catalog. Some people bid by raising their hand. Some people, if we had given them paddles, they raise a paddle. Then other people will sit on the aisle and stick their hand out in the aisle so nobody can see them behind them. Or as Harry Bass liked to do, like to put his hand on his ear and hold it. As long as he was holding on to his earlobe, he was bidding. If not, stop bidding for him. And but everybody had their idiosyncrasies, and you had to try to watch for it. And we even had one client, which I'll leave it unmentioned, who was so unfamiliar with what was going on behind him. He sat in the front row of the audience and turned his chair around facing the audience in the back. He wanted to see who was bidding against them. And he's well known in the business, but I have great respect for him. I don't want to mention his name. He's unfortunately not 100% well right now. And I don't want him to feel I'm picking on him. But that's what he did. And that's how he kept, and if he wanted something, he'd go like this. Just raise his hand, raise his hand. And you had to watch him. And there's others who had pencils using the bid. And the funniest thing is, I don't know if you remember, there was one bidder we had, his name was Martin Paul. And Martin Paul is a good numismatist, unfortunately. He too, unfortunately, is not well right now, but I loved him as a friend. And he would sit in the front, and he would sit down, and he would sit midway in the room. But he would go like this, just raise the pencil slightly up. He would quite often wear a yellow shirt with a yellow pencil, a white shirt with a white pencil. I used to say to Martin, I'll give you a different color pencil so I can see it. They don't realize when they move, they think you see it. Well, your attention can be any place in the room. And selling at auction was a great thrill to me. And I sold many, many of the great, great collections myself. I had some help that came in. These fellows were professional auctioneers. I was licensed since about 1955, full-time. I got the job to do it when my uncle, who was originally the family auctioneer, he did a lot of the sales, wasn't feeling just right, and he got very, very hoarse. And unfortunately, he was a cigar smoker, so he didn't realize that he was irritating his throat so much. And he got very excited easily, too. He got excited with the bidding. It was like stimulating it. And he started losing his voice. And he said, and I at that time had the job of what they call working the book. That's what we did. Took the bids, the mail bids, and bid on their behalf, or put the record down who bought it. 306 bought it for $18. So, and then Norman would sit next to me in case I wanted to get up for any reason. My uncle says, Harvey, get on the stand. I said, JB, I haven't got a license. He says to me, Harvey, get on the stand. I don't feel well. You know how to do it. Because I used to be a spotter also. Over here, point over there. I would help him by pointing over there, 360 over there, or something. So I started to do this. And then Norman moved over, took the book. He knew how to do the book as good as anybody. And that's how I started to sell. And my uncle said, you did a good job. He said, now go out and get yourself a license. So because technically, I could sell. As long as there was a licensed auctioneer sitting in the room under our employee. My uncle was not only under our employee, it was my employer. And then, of course, we decided that the auction sales are getting too big to run them in the shop, even though the shop was a good size. But we started going to hotels. We went first to Steinway Hall, had a room that used for concerts, which sat a couple hundred people. And then we went across the street, which was the Great Northern, which they took over and was taken over. And we moved there. Then when we took this place, we put an auction room in the back here because not every sale attracts 300-400 people. There are specialized collections. And so we made it where we could do it. Because the rents for auction space, like everything else in New York has gone up. It really has gone up. And you know, when you work on a commission and you have to give away part of your commission, that's part of the money you earned. That's an expense technically you didn't think about. Like, I never got paid to be an auctioneer. And I sold at auction myself from about 1954 till the late 70s, early 80s. And then I'd only sell certain sales, and we'd bring other people in, other professionals in to either take care, fill in for me, or give me a chance to rest. I developed this horse throat in 1970 and got rid of it by 1972. And then it came back. And because I was told, this may make you laugh a little bit, I don't know how to breathe. And I don't know how to talk. I said, okay, what is it? I went to speech school. I had to, and I still probably right now I'm talking to you, I talk through my throat. The muscles of my throat are moving the vocal cords. A little air comes up from the bottom. What they wanted me to do and learn, which was very hard at this time I was about 30, maybe 40 years old, is to take a deep breath and let the air come out from the stomach, or the, what do you call it again? The diaphragm. And it didn't, and it was hard to do. And if I got excited on the stand, it came all from here. Because if there was 5 or 6 bidders going, I had to go like this around the room, and I'd go like this, because I wanted to know where I'm taking the bid from, because you look down an aisle, there's 3 or 4 people near each other. You go like this, they don't know the point to go to the left, to the right, or the middle. So I pointed out, and I get excited with them as they got excited, bidding. And I didn't think about how to breathe. And I got very sore, I got sore throats that way, but and that's why I think I'm still a horse today.